Hi folks, it's Switchback. When you're planning a trip, especially your first trip, whether to go with a busy trail or a more remote trail is a very individual decision. Busy trails will often be easier to access, whereas a more remote trail is probably going to take more work to get to. It's going to be down some country roads, might require four-wheel drive, and it might even require a permit just to access the road itself. It'll be a lot easier to find out information and current conditions about busier trails than it will be about more remote and isolated trails. It will be easier to get help both from other hikers and from search and rescue if you're on a busy trail. If you like being around a lot of people, obviously busier trails will have more people. And especially if you're new and you're still getting your bearings, it might be nice to be able to talk to other people on the trail, get directions, find out about current conditions from someone who's going the opposite direction from you, and just plain making new trail friends.
Hi, puppies. We just went up to Island. How was that? It was great. We climbed up some snow and slid down on our butts.
All right, have a great week.
Thank you. You guys too. Nice to chat with you.
Busier trails are often busy because of the iconic places that they might take you to or walk by. And sometimes it'll be a shorter hike to something really beautiful. Wow. Holy cow. Busier trails are more likely to offer things like a bathroom, even a vault toilet, or trash cans, even if they're just at the trailhead, versus something that's out in the middle of nowhere. You're more likely to be able to find a community of people with information and updates about a specific area if it's a busier place, especially something like a long trail like the Pacific Crest Trail, the Appalachian Trail, the Camino de Santiago, even like Facebook groups or entire apps that are dedicated just to those trails. Same thing goes for something like a wilderness area or a national park. Trails that get a lot of traffic are more likely to be maintained. They're much less likely to be overgrown or hard to follow. If you're getting value at this point, be sure to like, subscribe down below. Remote trails can feel more exclusive, like you need to be in the know to know where to find them. And this is much more how it used to be. It used to be the only way to find out a really great remote spot was to hear about it from someone else, most likely someone who knew your skills and felt that you were capable of going there. Busier trails are more likely to require a permit that can be difficult to get, although not always, where remote trails may be easier to get a permit for or may not even require one in the first place. More remote trails are going to be quieter with fewer partiers and loud groups. You're more likely to see wildlife on a less used trail where other hikers ahead of you haven't already scared off wildlife. It may be easier to find a place to camp on a lesser used trail, although there may be more established sites on a busier trail. You're less likely to encounter inexperienced hikers out on a more remote trail versus on a busy, easy to access, Instagram famous trail. You can find some really amazing hidden gems out in remote areas. Harder to access and more remote trails will be more challenging for better or worse in a lot of different ways. Often the terrain will be more challenging, finding water will be more challenging, finding out information, etc. Some people really like that challenge and some people really want everything at their fingertips. Either one is okay. You will often see a lot less trash and other waste along a more isolated trail. It is much easier to pee and poop in private on a remote trail. If I miss something that is important to you about a busy trail or remote trails, drop it down in the comments below. More remote trails are more likely to have available real estate for a good cat hole versus a busy trail where a lot of the prime real estate is already taken, or worse, someone who is inexperienced has either dug an incorrect cat hole if they dug one at all. And so if you want to learn how to dig a proper cat hole or how else you can properly take care of your human waste when you're out backpacking or hiking, click on this video here. I hope you got value, like, subscribe, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.